Money in the Bank is this weekend, Matt. I guess I'll ask you right off the bat for some picks here, because we love making our predictions on the Extreme Life. Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre in the men's Money in the Bank match. Boy, that's an all-star Money in the Bank lineup if I've ever heard one, and I don't think it's one that's particularly very easy to pick. But if you had to pick between Jay, Melo, Andrade, Gable, LA Knight, and Drew, who are you going with?
I think I'm going to go with Drew for this one, just because of the circumstances that has surrounded him, kind of being caught up in the Money in the Bank and ended up dropping his title, the whole deal with Punk and him at Mania. So I'm going to go with Drew. I think Drew would be a very interesting character in that role.
Yeah, he certainly would be. Have you been paying attention to Jey Uso's entrances that he's been getting and that connection with the crowd that he's been forming?
Yes, very much so.
What do you think about all that?
I mean, I think that is what is good for business, and that is what is that's what makes people emotionally connect with the character. And he's definitely emotionally connecting with the character, and he's doing even a more tremendous job, because him and the Usos got over, him and his brother got over so well on their own as a tag team. And it's hard whenever you break and try and find that single identity to really grab that audience and be able to captivate them. And he has done that. And this entrance is something that just ties in with him. And there really is a strong emotional connection with the main event, Jey Uso, right now. And I'm here for it.
And the crowds are just so much more invested, right? WWE crowds are loud crowds right now. Why do you think that has changed over time? Because not that long ago, we're seeing a very different dynamic.
Why is the crowd louder?
Yeah, like why? Because I mean, that's everyone who watches WWE right now. That's the first. They're talking about how hot the crowds are. How hot the crowds are. They're putting more butts in seats than ever, like in the last 15 years. Where is that stemming from, in your opinion?
I mean, I just think from a storyline perspective and from a storyline stance, I think right now their game is the strongest it's been in years. I think starting at the top from the Bloodline stuff, and even the stuff the Bloodline is still currently doing, is it's morphing and changing, and you're getting ready to have a Bloodline versus Bloodline or whatever it may be. The stuff with Cody, everything underneath is just really strong. Their storytelling is really strong, and they're focusing on making these emotional connections with the characters in the audience. And I think they're doing a great job with that. And that, at the end of the day, is what makes you successful more than anything else. And that's really what they're owning in on.
Yeah, seeing Jay's entrances and just how you got 20,000 people bobbing the lights up and down is unbelievable as a visual. I like your Drew McIntyre pick. I would say he's probably the favorite to win this. From a storyline dynamic perspective, it would definitely keep things pretty interesting as you head towards SummerSlam with CM Punk. And
I also do think Gable would be interesting too. Just
Gable would be very. I think all these guys in it would be very interesting. For the record, I wouldn't hate if this is the first time we see Drew McIntyre get one on Punk. Maybe Punk tries to screw him and McIntyre finally gets one up and wins Money in the Bank. It's time for Drew, who took Punk out, to keep one-upping him to even those scores a little bit. But with Punk seemingly out after Drew took him out, I think that you could very well see Drew win. My sleeper pick would be Melo. And I think it would be great to see investing in the young talent, giving him that opportunity right away. But I've got thoughts on that in just a second as we get to the women's side, which is Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. Because, Matt, in this side, I'm going with Tiffany Stratton, who I believe they view as the anchor of the women's division for many years to come in the not-so-distant future. And what better way to launch someone than by giving them an opportunity like this to elevate into a main event picture? What do you think about that idea?
That would be my pick as well. Yeah. Tiffany Stratton would be my pick also.
Just the idea of taking someone who's largely new to the main roster and telling your crowd she's important because she won this. I think that kind of connects well with the Money in the Bank concept that we're going to talk a little bit about here in this episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy.